Hello, welcome to the Write and Self-Publish Your Book WSB Webinar, organized by the Content Maven. Today we'll talk about a few things about writing and self-publishing. But let me give you a brief overview of what Write and Self-Publish Your Book WSB is all about. WSB is an intensive 5 month training program for those who have a story, who have a knowledge, who have expertise. You have something you want to share in a book form for other people to read, to learn from, or to simply just read, as in to have for entertainment, to read for entertainment, like for fiction books. So you have somebody that has something to put into a book form. That is what WSB program is about, to help that person to put it into the book form. But it is specially designed for those with a desire to write a book, but they think that they cannot write. There are so many people out there that want to, but they don't know how to start. They don't know how to even start. Do I start with this is my book? This they don't know anything. But they have this desire. They have this desire to write a book, but they think they cannot write. This is what WSB is for. To harness that desire into a book. That is what WSB was designed for. This webinar is just a prelude to the comprehensive training program. This webinar is just like an introduction for anyone that wants to take the WSB training program. So I welcome you to the WSB webinar. So who am I? Who is Modupe Taiwo? My name is Modupe Taiwo and I'm the facilitator for the WSB program. I am an author. I've self-published 4 books. I have other books in the making, in the works, that I want to put together. I've always wanted to be a fiction writer, a romance fiction writer, but right now I'm making a detour into non-fiction. I'm writing books on self-publishing and writing. It's a detour for me. I'm still going back to what I originally wanted to do. I'm also a self-publishing expert because several years ago, when I was a teenager, I started writing quite a lot. Okay, let me just start from who Modupe Taiwo is really when it comes to books. I read the first Mills and Boone novel at the age of 8. I stole it from my auntie's room, and I had to disguise it back then. I had to disguise it in my Macmillan textbooks because they mustn't see me reading novels and they will skin me alive. So I had to disguise it in my textbooks. So from anybody looking at me will think I'm reading my textbook, whereas I'm reading a novel. I started writing not long after that because I was fascinated by words. Those words that I read ignited something in me. I mean, how could you put words together? A young girl, 8 years old, to put words together to form a story like that. The story was different from the kind of story we're reading in the textbooks. Eze goes to school. No, this one was more, more fantastic, more interesting than all the ones that I was reading. I know people say it's not a good thing because you get exposed to romance. It wasn't the romance stuff that was it for me. It was the worlds that was opening up for me. I was reading about different careers, different professions. Yes, there was the romance thing. I don't understand why people say it made them promiscuous. Reading novels at a young age made them promiscuous. It gave me a standard. If I don't love you, you won't even have you. If I don't have feelings for you, we won't even have a relationship. That was the kind of standard it gave me. Anyway, I'm making a detour again. Let's get back to what we're talking about. So for me, that was it. Those words were like, oh my, I could do something with words. And it wasn't long I started to write. In fact, what made me start to write was an incident that happened. I told my mother a story. I told her a story, and she believed me. She started to discuss, ask me questions. Hey, so what happened again? So they did that. I'm like, oh my God. This story was just a fiction of a figment of my imagination. It didn't happen. But she swallowed it hook, line, and sinker. And I'm like, Dupe, you have something. You have something here. And I decided to work and I started to write. I started writing I think about 12, I started to write my stories. I still have the 40 leaves and 60 leaves exercise books. I was cleaning my apartment one time and we saw it when we were cleaning. I have them. I'm still going to publish those books, though it will be under YA, young adults, because there were stories about my teenagehood. So it will be under young adults. And that was how it started for me. And as a teenager, I took those exercise books. I took them to publishers to publish, and they rejected them. Back then, it was mostly traditional publishing. They rejected them. A lot of publishers rejected. They rejected the manuscript. But one told me something. One told me to have the manuscript typed and binded. And I thought, bingo, this is it. This should be easier with the manuscript typed and binded. Sorry. And I took it to them again and they still rejected it. But one rejection broke my heart. In my presence, they were looking for the manuscript. The receptionist agreed, admitted that yes, she remembered me quite well that she collected the manuscript for me, but she didn't know what she did with it. That young me sat down, stood there and was thinking probably she put it inside the dustbin because she didn't think it is worth anything. It broke my heart. I cried all the way home. I cried. We lived in Surrey then. I cried all the way home. And I stopped writing. I was just reading Mills and Boone, and I was just reading novels. I was a voracious reader. I read a lot. And I was just reading and reading. But when something is something you love and you want to do, it will keep tugging at your heart. It will keep tugging. It will keep tugging at your heart. And that was how publishing kept tugging at my heart. And I decided, okay, there must be other ways to publish books. Apart from going to these companies, there must be other ways. And I started to search. And I stumbled on self-publishing. I learned, I studied, I trained, I went for webinars, I paid money for courses, online, offline. For those that know this magazine, the Success Digest magazine, God rest continue to rest his soul. The publisher of that magazine, he's dead now. I've forgotten his name now. He's dead. He organized trainings and courses, and he had one called expiring expiring copyrights publishing or something like that. And I attended it. That was when I came into the knowledge of self-editing, about publishing books and all of that. Publishing books for myself. So I studied more. I remember going for that one that he organized, something about expired copyrights. Yes, training. And my siblings were like, you're going to spend, it was a lot of money back then. I think it was like 15K or 20K back then, a long time ago. I'm talking about over 15 years ago. And my siblings were like, you want to go and spend all that money on what? Expired, something that is expired. You want to go and learn about something expiring, how to use expired books, publish expired books. Are you insane? But I went. I paid. I went. I studied. I practiced on my own for several years. I remember the first time I uploaded the first EPUB file to Smashwords. Smashword is no longer in existence like Okada books. But Smashword became a draft to digital, bought Smashwords. I remember the first time I uploaded my EPUB format file to it, to Smashwords. They have this meat grinder that they have this automatic vetoing system. They called it meat grinder to check your file before uploading it, before you can upload it to their platform, and it rejected it several times. Rejected it. I'm like, what is wrong? I did everything that I know to do. I've done it. There's no error. There's not. I cried. I cried. But I went back to the drawing board. I started again, worked on it, did everything that I could do again, and got so good. After some time, I think about several months after, it accepted it. And that was how I started to know about. And it was good it rejected, because it helped me to learn some things about hip-hop file, some errors that could um, happen, that you could, some things you could do that could cause errors in your file, for it not to be accepted, for the file for the book, your ebook, not to display well on e-readers. So it was a good thing. Mistakes, let's not run away from mistakes. Mistakes can be good. They can be good. So it was a good thing. And I continued learning. That was how I have over 2 decades experience, training, practicing everything about self-publishing. So that's what makes me a self-publishing expert. I learned, I did courses, I have certificates from trainings that I did. I did a lot of trainings. And it's paid off. In 2017, I self-published my first book. That's self-published profit. Every member, anybody that attends this webinar will get a free copy of that. It's a free book. And it will explain more, a lot more of the things I will talk about in this webinar. It will explain it to you. Okay, to give more details. This webinar is like an hour. We can't talk soon. I can't talk for long. All right. So I'm also digital marketing strategist. I learned copywriting, and I worked for a while as a copywriter with the website Chick. I'm also an SEO content writer. I worked for another digital agency as an SEO content writer. And the thing about me, once I learn something, I want to put it into practice. So I needed to put that content writing. I moved from creative writing books, writing novels. That is creative writing. I wanted to go into technical writing for the web, doing SEO, search engine optimization. I wanted to know about that, and so I moved to that aspect about 2 years ago. Learned about it and then practiced it with another digital marketing agency. That particular one was a Digital Marketing Training Institute, DMSI, and I worked with them for a while too. And an entrepreneur. I call myself a serial entrepreneur because I've done so many businesses. I've done so many businesses. I've done a lot of businesses. I had a catering business one time. Let me not mention. I've done businesses. And a lot failed. Again, I learned my lessons from them. And that is what made me to understand something. Self-publishing is like a small business. In fact, it is a small business. As time goes on, in the course of this webinar, you'll get to understand more. It's a small business because you are the publisher. You are doing everything yourself. And I found out a lot of small business owners at the beginning do everything themselves. So an author and a small business owners are besties in business. I call them besties in business. You are both doing business. Authors, listen to me. Aspiring authors, listen to me. You are a small business owner. I will explain later when we get into the aspect of self-publishing. You are a small business owner. So that's all about me. You can get more about me at from my website www.contentmaven.biz. If you put / after that biz and write about, you read more about me there. Let's get right into it. All right, so I've told you my story. I told you my story, how it started. with the M and B novel. Let's move on, please. All right. So today, for this webinar, we will be looking at a few things. We'll be talking about why you should become an author. How should you connect with your book's target or the target audience? And again, this came as a result of a mistake I made, and I see a lot of aspiring authors making it, and I try to correct it with participants of WSB. And I like that they took my advice. One of them is not making that mistake. She's about to launch a book, but she's not doing the mistake a lot of rookie authors make. So we'll talk about the writing process. We'll talk about self-publishing, but for you to understand self-publishing, we also need to talk about traditional publishing, and then we'll talk about the common mistakes aspiring authors make. Then we'll talk about the 5 months framework to write and self-publish your book. All right. So why should you become an author? Why should you become an author? There are a lot of people that have expertise in their field. They are good, they are known in their field, but they do not have something that shows off their authority in that field. It's not just about your certificate, you know. And I think this is why in the academia, they make their students do tests, write something, because it gives them, distinguishes them from the rest. Anybody that has written a book stands out from others. So if you want to be an expert and you want to show your expertise in your field, stand out from the rest, become an author. There's this prestige, there's this honor that comes with writing a book. Imagine seeing Professor Wole Soyinka. You know the way you reverence him somehow. You will almost become tongue-tied in his presence. Why is that? It's simply because he wrote books, and you're just awed. Because somebody that could put words together could write like that, you know, you just be awed. You just be you mellow, like my children will say, in his presence. You just give him that respect. It gives you authority. Books gives you authority. You stand out from the rest. Everybody can be talking. You have written a book about others have accepted to the book you have written. And so you become slightly above others. So you do it to become an expert in your field. And then it's also passive income. You make money. You can still be doing your regular 9 to 5 job or whatever you're doing. And if you have set up your sales page and automated it, it will be selling. Your books can be selling while you are sleeping. I once had a bank alert, an alert, and I was wondering where the money came from. And I remembered it was one platform. I had put my book a long time ago. I had forgotten about it, but somebody bought it and the money entered my bank account. Passive income. When you least expect it, myself, that's when the books will pop. You need to be intentional about it. You don't just write a book, publish it, and leave it. The book won't sell. It won't sell itself. All right. And the greatest, and I think this is the greatest of all, you make impact in the lives of your readers. Imagine somebody reading your book and learning something and practicing it, and it does the person good. You make impact in the lives of your readers. And I think this is about the best. This is what, for me, this is even if it is just fiction, the person is just reading for entertainment. I read novels a lot for entertainment. When my head is filled, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm having mental tiredness. You know, there's physical, your body can be tired, your brain too can be tired. That's what I do. Either read a novel or watch a movie. That's how I decompress. That's how I recharge. So, and I read those novels for entertainment. I'm entertained at that time. It's something. So don't think because you're writing novels you're not making impact in the life. No, do not. You may be helping people to decompress, entertaining them with your fiction story. And this is another good one. You leave a lasting legacy. There are so many people that have died that their books are still blessing people and will continue to bless people. Dr. Miles Monroe, we still read his book. He died. Napoleon Hill has been dead for how many years now? But we still read his book. Lives are still being changed. You don't know how many lives you will change. You don't know the generations that will read your book and their lives will be transformed. So why would you want to keep that book inside of you? Why won't you release that book? Well, we'll change that with WSB. This WSB program will change that. You will release that book. Let's move on. How do you connect with your book's target audience? I always tell aspiring authors that I come in contact with. In fact, I had a Q&A on Friday. The Book Partners Network invited me for a Q&A on writing and self-publishing to talk about writing and self-publishing. And we were talking, and I told the person the number one thing an aspiring author should do is promote the book before it is published. And the moderator was like, "What? How do we do that? I mean, I don't even know the book idea. I don't have a book idea yet. I don't have anything. How do I start promoting?" Yes, you promote your book before you publish it. And this is the way you do it. You do it to attract your target audience, your book's reader. You do it to attract them. You attract and engage with them before you publish. That's the only way that will guarantee sales after you publish. You know, a lot of people would say they publish a book and it's not selling because they made this rookie mistake. I made it too. A lot of people are making it. Don't make it. That's what I'm telling you now. Do not make it. Do not make it. You attract your target audience, and let me give you an how you do it early. Yes, like that moderator said, like we still said on Friday, you may not have the idea, you may not have the book idea yet. You may not even know what you want to write, but I can guarantee something. You would know whether it is a fiction book or a non-fiction book that you want to write. You will know whether you want to pass your write about your experience or your expertise, or you just want to write a story. You will know that. And good, once you know that, please start with your social media accounts. You know those people that put nonsense, write nonsense on their news feed. They are making fun of somebody, you post it. There's a viral challenge, or no, some viral challenges can even be good. There's one stupid memes, some memes that are just flying about. You post about it, irrelevant things. Please stop posting what does not pertain to your life and the kind of book you want to write. Start to post about things that pertains to what you want to write about. If you want to write about your business experience, or so your business expertise, say you're an accountant, you want to teach small business owners how to keep record keeping for small business owners. Please, yes, you don't have the idea for the book yet, but you know you want to write something on bookkeeping. Start tailoring your captions, your posts towards that. Clean up your social media accounts. Let's not find nonsense there, because people won't take you serious. They won't take you serious. That somebody that posted about what's this lady Bobrisky yesterday. He's now talking about pardon me, Shim. He's not a lady, he's Shim. Bobrisky is Shim, he's not a lady. Okay, so just say you posted something about Bobrisky yesterday, and then today you want to talk about bookkeeping. Who will take you serious? Who will be serious with you? They won't be serious with you. They won't think you are serious, because really, Bobrisky, please, I do not mean any disrespect or anything, but just that it does not have something to do with what you're saying, unless you want to look at it from a bookkeeping angle. And I wonder what you would see. Let's not go there. But my point is this. Be intentional about what you post on social media. And then from there, take one day, use one day to talk about what you want to write about. Let's keep using that bookkeeping. Let's keep using that bookkeeping as an example. Say you want to write, you want to it to be about bookkeeping. For example, for you, it's going to be about bookkeeping. And then every day you post, but choose one particular day, say Thursdays, and post things about bookkeeping, how to keep records. Take note of those that like that post. Take note of those that ask you questions or come into your DM to ask questions. These are the potential buyers of your book when it is published. So take note of them. Then you can go a step further. When you've now decided, okay, they like bookkeeping, okay, let me write a book on bookkeeping. You can write 1 or 2 chapters, put it together in a PDF format, and give it out as a freebie, a free ebook for them to download. Connect, create, use any of the email marketing service. There's MailChimp, there's MailBlast, there's a lot more others. Use any of them to set up an opt-in page. Set up an opt-in page and use it to get their contact details. That is, you're building your email list, which is the number 3 thing, the number 3 key points. You're building your email list. So anybody that puts in their email contact details, their email, their name, maybe their phone number as well, you have those contacts. You can promote to them. These are the ones you promote when your book is out. So you use it to build your email list as well. Okay. And then can go another step further, which I use this too. You use paid ads, Facebook adverts. Say you want to get more people to download that ebook. Use Facebook adverts to get people to download it. More people will even like your page and follow it, or like your social media account and follow you just because of that ebook that you have given out. So this is how you connect with your potential readers even before you publish. And please, when you do have that email list, don't just get it. And that's another mistake, rookie mistake. I also do that. I've done that too. Don't just build that email list and not connect with them afterwards and wait till when the book is out, and then you will now send them an email to come and buy the book. They won't buy. Nurture the list. Nurture it, build a relationship with them. So anytime you send out, anytime you post something on your social media feed, social media platform, put it in there, write it in the email too, and send to them. Keep the relationship going so that when your book is out, you won't be a stranger to them. They already know you. They trust you. They've been reading your emails. They know you have knowledge and expertise, and they will buy your book. This is how you connect with your book's target audience. Let's move on. The writing process. See, I hear a lot of people tell me, I'm busy. That's why the first thing I tell you when you come into the WSB writing training program is, I do not want to hear, I am busy. There is nobody that is not busy. We all create time for the things we want to do. You find time for it. So you need to set up a writing schedule. If it's going to be 30 minutes per day, if you're going to wake up earlier, you say you wake up 5 a.m., you do your devotion till 5:30. Maybe you'll need to wake up 4:30, do your devotion, and then write for 30 minutes. Even if it is just one word that you write per day, by the end of 1 month, you will have a paragraph. Another month, another paragraph. Before the year is out, you will write something now. It will be better than not doing anything at all. So you need to set up a writing schedule. Then you generate your book idea. This is a whole module in the WSB training program. To generate your book idea, you put a lot of things into practice, into perspective. Your personality, your experience, the kind of things you like. I've always known I would write novels because I love reading novels. In fact, I'm surprised I'm doing this detour into non-fiction. I'm surprised. I didn't think I would ever. So the kind of things you like, your personality, your why, the message you want to pass across to um, to your readers. There's something in that module. Excuse me. A part of this module asks the question: if you were to die today, what would you like to be remembered for? That's fodder. That's fodder for your book. What is the legacy you want to leave behind? Okay, I want to be known. We know Miles Monroe with his motivational books. That's his legacy. What do you want to be known for when you die? That can give you an idea of what you want to write about. Could be your business experience. It could be the knowledge you have. You want to put it into a book form. So a different things will be put into perspective before you create your book idea. And the way WSB is set up is that every step of the way I'm with you, I'm giving guidance. We have a WhatsApp community where you post your weekly tasks, and then I mark it, so to say, and give you so suggest how it can be better. So that's your book idea. In fact, you generate like 3 book ideas, and then you validate it. There's a way to also validate. And to validate it, there's a platform we use. It is said that 1/3 of Americans buy books, that they buy books, they read books and they buy it on one platform, on Amazon. So you will go to Amazon because it's a good place to research. You go to Amazon to check that's your book idea. If you have like 3, you check for the most valuable, and that's the one you write. If your book idea, nobody has written it, there's no need reinventing the wheel. Write what is already selling. So you check for the book idea, you validate, okay, yes, it is selling, it is viable. And there's something else I always tell participants of WSB to do. You don't just check, okay, it's a viable topic title. You don't check just the bestsellers, the prices, the kind of book covers, because these are the things you look at. But you don't check for that alone. You check for content gaps, something I call content gaps. You check for it, and this is how you do that. You look at the reviews. You look at what people are saying that the books don't contain. And then in your own book, you make sure it contains that. Because say there's somebody read the book and said, I wish he had written about this. That is something you should write. That is fodder for your own book. That is something you should write about. And then you are going to make it the unique selling point of your book. Because if somebody, when you publish and somebody says there are books already in the market, now you say this is different, and you tell them why it is different. The books in the market are not talking about this. My own book addresses it. So there's a way to validate your book idea. I'll guide you on how to do that. Then we'll go a step further to create your book outline. There are ways to create. There are 3 ways actually about it, to do it. But there's a task. There's a way, a practical way I tell participants to use. And it is to use post-it notes. You know those rectangular, I don't know, they can have different shapes. I have one that is a cartoon-like character here. You know those shapes, those post-it notes, like small jotters that we can write on. Okay, you get a couple of those. The most common one has different colors, I think about 4 or 6 colors. You got a couple of those post-it notes. You now sit down, get a pen. Everything that you know about what you want to write about, say bookkeeping, let's still use that example. Everything that you know about bookkeeping, write them one at a time on a post-it note. Write them. Be writing them. Or let's use because I don't know about bookkeeping. Let's use something I know about. Cooking. Yes, cooking. Cooking is another hobby of mine, something I love to do. That's why I had a catering service some time ago, another one of the failed businesses. So cooking. Say in one post-it, I write frying. I put it aside. What is frying? I put write it there. Another one I write steaming. Another one I write everything I know about cooking. I write it on different post-it notes, and then after I'm done, after everything I know, I've written them down. And I'll spread those post-it notes in front of me, and I will start to group them. I'll start to group them. You know where I wrote frying, where I wrote steaming, where I wrote baking, I'll put it together. That forms something. That forms methods. That can be one chapter. Methods of cooking. So I put them aside, put those ones aside. I group another set, another topic, another chapter topic, put it aside. Another one. By the time you would have grouped everything, you have chapters. That's about the easiest way to write, to do your book outline. And then after you've written your book, there's a way to research. There are tools to research. If you feel you don't know much about what you want to write about, research. Research. There's a way to research. And then when you have done that, let me quickly say this. I do not support self-editing. Yes, I am a self-published author. And what that means is that I do self-editing. But bear in mind that side writing, one of the training, when I was doing all those training, I did trainings as a copy editor. I edit manuscripts. So I have training I've trained to be an editor. So the way I will look at a manuscript will be different from the way you look at a manuscript. So somehow it is okay that I can self-edit because I know what to look out for. But somebody that doesn't know anything about editing, I would not advise it. But I permit it and I teach it because I do know that when you're first starting, money can be really tight. Rather than and editing is not cheap. Editing is not cheap. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I'm an editor, so I know. I'll read a manuscript like 3 to 4 times. Each time I'm reading, I'm doing different things on the manuscript. Imagine I edited the manuscript of somebody, Wives of the South. That is like 200 pages long. Reading it like 4 times. Doing different things at each time or each reading. I'm doing different things. So it takes time. It's a painstaking work. So it is expensive. But rather than you not publishing that book because of money to pay an editor, I would permit and teach about editing. But please, I beg you, I beg you, whoever is listening to this or watching this recording, please, when you do have the money to edit your book, get an editor to edit it, please. It can hurt your author brand in the long run if your book is not well edited. In fact, when you download my first ebook, my first self-published ebook, when you download it, you find like 3 errors in that book. I purposely left it. In fact, I'm not going to change anything about that book because I want it to remain the way I created it when I first self-published it. I have not changed anything in that book. So you'll find about 3 errors in the book. And I left it like that because I left it to make a statement that you cannot be objective. With all my training, with the knowledge of copy editing that I have, I still made a mistake. I didn't see those mistakes until I was about to convert the manuscript to PDF. That was when I saw it. I'm like, oh my God, I need to go back and change this in the Word document. But I just told myself, no, use it as an example to teach others that self-editing, you can't be objective. An aspiring author can't be totally objective editing their own books by themselves. But yes, I permit self-editing. So I'm going to teach you how to do. In WSB, I teach how to self-edit. There are tools you use. It can be compared to a human editor editing your manuscript. It can't. It can't be compared to it. Because let me give you an example. Again, let me give you an example because I need to help you to understand why you need to pay a human editor when you do have the money. I edited a manuscript, and the protagonist of the story was supposed to be a tall, dark-skinned man, very huge. And by the time we got to the third chapter of the manuscript, the writer was talking about a different person, almost a midget. And I'm like, there's a shift here. He's tall, dark-skinned, and handsome, and huge. And now you explain because he passed through a tunnel, some sort of a tunnel, and it's only a midget, a dwarf that can pass through what he was describing. And I'm like, a huge person cannot pass through it and come out successfully. So there's a problem then. Now, if you're using, I saw it because it's a human editing, it's a human person editing. If you are using apps, because what you'll be using are apps and softwares when you are self-editing. You may even know these apps, Grammarly, Quillbot. There's a special one I tell my students to use. I won't tell you here. If you want to know about it, sign up for the WSB program. Okay. If you are using those apps will not tell you that. Those apps won't see that. They won't see that at all. It won't be an error. They won't flag it as an error. But as a human editor, going through the book, I know this was an error. That the person he described in chapter 1 cannot pass through that tunnel. So somebody reading that book will say, you know, I will say, when you're watching action film and you look at, how can he do that? You know, and then the person reads and the person, this one is just writing nonsense. And maybe your next book you won't want to read because what you wrote in your first book was nonsense to him or her. So this is a difference. What differentiates human editors and self-editing? Self-editing, you're just using apps and softwares to correct the errors in your book. But I've explained to you why I permit it. So let's move on. Self-publishing. For you to understand self-publishing, you need to know what traditional publishing is. Traditional publishing is you pitching your manuscript, the manuscript you have written, pitching it to traditional publishing companies like Farafina, Cassava Republic. There are many others. Pitching it to them, and then you send it to them by mail. There are times they have submissions, and they have times for submissions during the year. You send in your manuscript, and then they will review on their end, and if they see that it is something they want to publish, they will contact you and then give you a publishing deal. They will do everything for you. You won't even have to lift a finger. Most of them will not even ask for your opinion, and then they will pay you maybe between 10 to 20% of the profits of the sales of your book. That is traditional publishing. So what happens is this: you give out the rights to your book. They can do whatever they like with it based on the agreement you sign with them. But with self-publishing, you are the publisher. The actual word for self-publishing is indie publisher. That is independent publisher. You see all those processes that I talked about, you are the one doing it yourself. You will write, you will edit, you will create book cover, you will format the manuscript, you will convert it to ebook, you will distribute it by yourself. You are the independent publisher. That's why I said it's a small business. You're running a small business. You are the independent publisher. That is what self-publishing is about. You are responsible for every aspect of publishing your book. Now, there are two ways you can go about self-publishing. You can either do it yourself, do everything yourself, which makes you an indie publisher, or you can outsource some of the publishing processes. Like the last cohort of the WSB program, when we were doing that module on book cover creation, one of the participants, her name is Love, she submitted the first book cover. I told her this is nonsense. Submitted the second one. I said, no, can you work on it? She did, and Love, don't even bother. See, book cover creation, you will outsource. You are not good there. Just outsource it. Everybody laughed. Just outsource it. You know, because compared to what others were giving me, hers was just it was nonsense. I don't want to rubbish her work, so I won't call it nonsense. But it wasn't the book covers. You'll see some of them when you download that book, when you download that ebook, you'll see some of the book covers. As in first time, people that have not created covers before created that. I was blown away. And then somebody was creating something that is not at par with the others. I said, Love, outsource book cover creation. Don't even bother yourself. Concentrate on the other aspects of publishing. So you can outsource. There is no crime in that one. The goal is to get the book published. So whatever you can't do, outsource. There are two ways to self-publishing. Well, so now what are the advantages and disadvantages now? With traditional publishing, you give away all the rights. In fact, some of them will not even ask for your opinion. They won't seek for your opinion about the book cover. They won't do anything because they already know what sells. They already know what is going to sell. So they won't even want to ask you. You give away your rights to the book and you collect just 10 to 20% of it. Whereas in self-publishing, you can get up to 75% of the book sales. But in traditional publishing, you get just like 10 to 20% of the book sales. Even it's the profit, not the gross. Because they will take their costs away from you before they'll start paying you royalties. You give away your creativity, you give it away. You don't have control over it. With self-publishing, you have control over your work. You determine how it is. That is why I always say, be trained, know what should be done. Know what should be done. Don't go and do nonsense and expect people to buy it. That's why I created this program, so that you can be trained, know what needs to be done for each aspect of the publishing process. How a book cover should look like. Somebody contacted me, they wanted to publish because I run a publishing business. They wanted to publish their book, and they said they put their logo on the book cover. And I'm thinking, a logo on a book cover. Now I had to teach them. A book cover does not have a logo. You don't put your logo, your business logo on the book cover. So you need to know what needs to be done before you start doing it. That's what WSB is about. So you control everything, whereas in traditional publishing, they control it. They control it. The other thing about publishing is that self-publishing is a lot of work, whereas in traditional publishing, you don't do anything. They do everything for you. So you need to wait. You need to wait. If you're somebody that likes to learn new things, self-publishing can be good for you because you'll be learning new things. The learning curve is deep. It is steep. Book formatting, for instance, is not it's not beans like we say in Nigeria. It's not something easy. Takes time, takes practice. So you need to wait. But there's something about traditional publishing. Most of them are not willing to take on newbie authors, aspiring authors, new authors. They don't. It's about ROI, return on investment. Compared to somebody that their book is already selling, you that you are just coming, they will wait. If we invest in this book, will it bring in so much money for us? So it's not about the author. Before, I used to be angry with those traditional publishers that rejected my manuscript. Well, as I grew up and especially when I started as a publishing business, I understand it's about ROI. It's about return on investment. Say I have a large following now, they can leverage that to make money from the book. But you don't have a large following, your book, they won't take a chance on you. They won't take a chance on you. And there's something I've heard about traditional publishing. I don't know how far this is true. Somebody said that a lot of these manuscripts that you pitch to them, that people in the company can sell it to other people to publish. I don't know how far this is true. Somebody said it. So there is that danger too of your book getting into the wrong hands, your story being written by another person. I remember some time ago, somebody brought up a lawsuit about against Chimamanda Adichie, that it was a story, her own story, that the late Chinua Achebe gave Chimamanda Adichie to write. That's a major book. That it was her own story. I remember some time ago there was that lawsuit. I don't know what came of this lawsuit, but I remember that happened. That happened. That person accused Chimamanda of writing her book. I didn't go further to check what came out of it. But so there's that risk. But with self-publishing, there isn't that risk because you are in control of your manuscript. So you need to wait what will work for you. Okay. So the self-publishing process, we have self-editing. You write the manuscript, you edit, you create your book cover, you you format the manuscripts and convert that well-formatted manuscript to ebook in either PDF or EPUB. Most online bookstores accept EPUB, even Amazon, though they will convert your EPUB file to their own format, which is Mobi. They will convert it to Mobi. They have a new name for that Mobi now. I didn't bother myself about it, but we all know Mobi. Mobi is more common than the new name for their format. They will still accept your EPUB file. So most online bookstores, it's only Seller and Paystack that accepts PDF. So you convert your formatted manuscript to ebook in two formats, EPUB and PDF, and then you distribute it to all the online bookstores. Lulu, Kobo. We don't have Okada books again in Nigeria, so you have to make do with BAM Books. BAM Books is not like a regular online bookstore. They rent out books. They don't pay for books on BAM Books, but it's still good to have your books there. Let your books be everywhere so that you don't know who will buy it. Let it be everywhere. Okay, that is that about publishing, self-publishing. Let's move on. Common pitfalls and solutions. Poor quality control. A lot of people just slap things together. Let me just publish. That is not the mindset. That's not even the mindset I want people that pass through WSB to have. Don't just slap things together. Just do things anyhow. No. That's why I teach, I train, I take my time. 20 weeks. WSB is 20 weeks. Every step of the way I'm with you, I'm checking what you're doing, because you can't pass through WSB and you bring out nonsense. No. I want to attach my name to something like that. I want to make sure everything you are doing, every step, as an indie publisher, make sure every step of the publishing process, the quality is good. That's why I told Love, don't bother about book cover creation, outsource it. You can't put this book cover on, no. You can't launch a book with this book cover, no. Quality is big, because the thing is, it will hurt your author brand if people know that what you produce is nonsense. They won't want to continue buying your books. It will hurt your author brand in the long run. That's why you need to make sure every step of the way what you're producing is quality. It may take you time. Take the time to do it well. Unprofessional cover design, I've talked about that already. The first thing people will see is your book cover. If you enter into a bookshop, it is the book cover that will attract you. It is when they see the cover, they will pick the book and look at the blurb behind, or they will start to skim through the pages. but it has to be the cover first. That's the first thing that people will see. So why would you not create something good that will attract your audience? Your book cover should call to your audience as soon as they see it. No, let me check out this book. Another rookie mistake is no marketing plan. I made that too. So I won't bash us too much. I made a mistake too. You just publish. You don't have a marketing plan. You don't have a plan for how you are going to sell the book. You must have a marketing plan. You must have a marketing plan. And another one is wrong pricing strategy. Somebody publishes, nobody knows you. You publish a book today because while you were doing your book validation, book idea validation, you saw that book, the bestseller in that book is selling for $20. You put $20 on your book. You, a newbie author. No. If John Maxwell is selling his book for $100, you cannot put $100. The kind of expertise, the level of expertise he has, the time he has spent building that platform, building his reader base, you don't have it. You can't command the same. So you need to know what is obtainable in your category. And as a newbie, yours has to be lower. In fact, there's a strategy on Amazon. If you are coming into Amazon for the first time, it's always best you do something like $2.99, $3.99. Don't do actual. It's somewhat of a strategy. You can't compete with those there already. You are just coming. So find a sweet spot. Find what the price range that can work for you, and then as you start to grow your reader base, you can increase. And the good thing about ebook is it is soft copy. You can always rewrite it or add something to it and increase the price because of what you have added. Maybe a new technique or something that has just come up, you add it to it, and then you can jack up the price for that reason, and use that new technique as a selling point, that kind of thing. But do not just put any amount. Some authors will say, because of the sweat, because I paid so much, the time it took to do this, it's going to be heavy, the price must be high. No, check what is obtainable in the market. Check the bestsellers, check those that aren't bestsellers, check how much they are putting on their books, and you too, make it yours a little bit lower than those, not the bestsellers. And as you sell more, people know you, you increase. Then not treating self-publishing as a small business that it is. Self-publishing is a business. I have explained. You are a business owner. You are besties in business with small business owners. If you go to my website, contentmarvin.biz, that's what you see there on my homepage. BIB, besties in business. You are besties in business. It's a business. You are running a business, so it's going to be your side hustle. Make it a side hustle, but it's still a business. You are the one running the show. You are running every aspect. Editing is an aspect. Book cover is an aspect. All the departments, just like a small business owner will be running a show, running the business. Okay, that's it. Let's move on. So what's the 5-month framework? What's the framework? If you want to write and publish your book in 5 months, what's the framework? How will it look like? The first thing is this. The first month, you'll use writing prompts and exercises to learn how to write. Those people that I said that can't write, that they think they cannot write. Writing prompts will help you. Writing prompts will help you. Okay? There's a way to use writing, and that's what we do it in WSB. We use writing prompts. The writing prompts could take different from, in fact, different writing prompts per day. It could be okay. For the framework to use to write a book within 5 months, this is it. What should you be doing every month of those 5 months? For the first month, you will use writing prompts and exercises to learn how to write your manuscripts. And you will use this writing prompts. You know those people that said they can't write? This is where writing prompts, this is the month that is most important for them. You use writing prompts to learn. Okay, I always tell people, aside learning how to write, there are two things you need as an author. And this is why I use writing prompts to teach people. You need your imagination, one. You need creativity, two. Your imagination is very crucial to you because whatever you're going to write, you have to imagine it, even if it is non-fiction. That chapter, you have to imagine the message you want to pass across, the expertise or the knowledge you want to pass across, and how you want to pass across it. Will this one come before this? Do I talk about this before? It has to be imagined. And when you can imagine it, you can write it. And that's what writing prompts do for you. Let me give you an example of the writing prompts and something that happened during the pilot program of WSB, because I tested WSB before I started to sell this products to the market. Somebody, one of the participants of that pilot program, one of the participants got the writing prompt for that day, and it was to look in their immediate environment and describe whatever they see. They should pick an object and describe it. And the person messaged me and was like, she calls me Mo, and she said, Mo, there's nothing in my immediate environment. I'm like, they can't, there's no way they won't be anything. There must be something. There must be something in your environment. She said, there's nothing. And I'm like, okay, what can you see? Tell me, what are you looking at? A door. They write about the door. What's there to write? Is it metallic? Is it wooden? Okay, she said, okay, she wrote. And she finished and said, okay, describe it, what color, the design, the aesthetics on it. Describe, okay, okay. She wrote that down. There's nothing again. She said, the doorknob. Write about the doorknob. What kind of knob is it? Is it a brass knob? By the time she finished and she posted her submission for that day, she told me, she said, Mom, I never saw that door like that. But you made me to think about it, to visualize it, and I began writing, even becoming poetic about the design. That's what writing can do for you. If you can imagine it, you can write it down. You need imagination. So I want to write a scene, two people fighting. I have to imagine the first person, the second person, the disposition of each of them, their character, their demeanor, their everything, and then I have to find a way to infuse all of them together. Okay, he was looking rough, he was drunk, he became overbearing, he became abusive to the other person, and then the brawl started. I need to be able to imagine before I can write it down. And that's what writing prompts will help you to do. The exercises will help you to imagine. And then creativity, because the way I will write about that bad scene will be different from the way you will write about it. That's where creativity comes in. Writing styles. We also discussed that that's another module entirely in WSB. That's another module entirely in WSB. You develop your own style of writing. You develop your own style of writing. So writing prompts is good. It will help you to write. You will learn how to write. So that for that first month, that's what you do. Second month, you generate your book idea. I've talked about how to do that. You will validate it. You create your book outline. Third month, you write your book. In WSB, a whole month is given. There's no tax for that month, no weekly tax, no daily task. You just write your book. I will just be checking on everyone. How are you doing? What problem are you and say are you going through? a whole month. The third month is for that. Then the fourth month, everybody comes back with their manuscripts. I teach on how to edit it, to format and then convert to ebook. And then the fifth month, they create their bookstore, their own accounts on all online bookstores. Right now Nigerians are banned from creating an Amazon KDP account, but there's a way around it, and I teach the way we go about it. If you want to know, sign up for WSB training program. So that is the framework. If you want to do it by yourself, this is the framework. This is what you should be doing every month of those 5 months. If you want to write and self-publish your book within 5 months. So you're wondering what is next. You'll be thinking, Bodupe now, what is next now? What is next after this webinar? What is next after this webinar is, if you don't want to do it by yourself, you sign up for the Write and Self-Publish Your Book training program. It's an intensive 5 months. I don't joke with it because I know the quality I want from the participants. I don't joke. So the first thing you hear from me is, I don't like to hear I am busy. Tasks must be submitted. For the first month, it is the writing prompts, daily writing prompts. You must submit your tasks, assignments before midnight of every day. West African time, the first cohort, I had people from other countries, other African countries, and they were thinking they would say, because I didn't specify. I said West African time, Nigerian time. Don't tell me 12 midnight is not 12 midnight in Angola. It is none of my business. West African time, that's Nigerian time. Your submissions must be done, because I don't want by the next day you're going into the next day, we are talking about a different assignment, and you're coming to post your own assignment, and you want me to mark it and give my recommendations. No, you're dragging us back. You can't drag us back. We all work at the same pace. And I thank God for the cohort 1. Oh, those people were fantastic. 30 people signed up, 10 people graduated, finished. They were fantastic. From the word go, they kept to it, and they said they liked it because it made them disciplined. They knew they had to submit by 12, so they made sure they write and do it before 12 midnight. That it gave them discipline. That 1 month made them become disciplined. That they liked it. So there's no room for excuses. It's intensive. If you're a result oriented person, those are the kind of people I want. You want to get this done, you have to write. There are people that have been wanting to write. Over 82%, I think, people want to write, but only about 1% eventually write a book. Don't be that over 79% people. Be that 1%. Let's increase it. 5 months intensive program. If that is you, if this is for you, if you're a result oriented person, you like to achieve results, you like to set goals and achieve it, then please go to the link you are seeing on your screen right now. That is https you're looking at it. Go to that link and register. It is 5 months. It is and it is such that it is paced such that, except for the first month, that it is intensive, that it is a daily task, because that is the foundation. That's the month that will lay the foundation for the whole thing. So aside from that first month, every other month is a weekly task. Just you get your teaching module, the module for that week. It may be audio, it may be PDF, it may be video you watch, do your assignments within that 1 week. Then I think the third month, there's nothing at all. So it is, and there's a WhatsApp community. So it's easy, accessible. You don't have to be on one platform online all the time. Everybody uses WhatsApp. So it's on WhatsApp, you post your assignments. I give recommendations. I tell you if it is good enough, if it is not good enough. I tell you what to do and all of that. I'm holding your hand all the way through the program, all the way through the program, all the way through the program. If this is for you, if you are ready, if you are ready to do this, then go to this link and sign up. And I promised you a free book. This is your free book. Go to this link to download your free book. All right. Thank you so much for being here for this webinar. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you watching this. I appreciate you watching this. So this is the end of the webinar. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you in WSB Cohort 2 WhatsApp community after you've gone to this link and signed up. From me, do have a wonderful, wonderful life. All right? Goodbye.